June 20th meeting of the Westport Conservation Commission. We'll begin by saluting the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're a little short-staffed tonight without our agent. So if there are any hearings that we need clarification from Chris on, we'll probably make a motion to continue. That way we have our information correct. So begin with septic repairs, James Burns. Lenny?
Which name, which one?
Burns?
Burns.
Yep. RDA 607 Adamsville Road. Man, did you check for green cards?
Okay, Len Potter, Westport Environmental,
Yeah.
here for a septic system for James Burns, 607 Adamsville Road. This is the brook that comes from the east side of the Adamsville Pond and crosses Mr. Burns' property like so, is joined up with a finger from the west into the pond. Consequently, that's a major stream, so it has a buffer zone, but it has a riverfront also. The buffer zone is shown in yellow, the riverfront is shown in blue. I was able to get perk tests for a prime and reserve area down at the extreme southern part of the lot, and I'm going to place a 1,500 gallon Advantax D-Night unit. It will connect to both this is a 1-bedroom home, this is to be a 3-bedroom home. It's a 1-bedroom now. So we're going to pipe the surge to the tank and down through the open field down to the leaching field down here. So this is it's a septic system upgrade actually, going from a 3-bedroom system to a 4. And the system itself is outside any resource area. The septic tank is inside the riverfront, but the existing cesspool is located right here. So it's definitely a benefit to the environment. That's pretty much all I got to say.
All right, great.
I'm going to, in the absence of Chris, I'll read the agent report for each of the topics this evening. The applicant is James Burns, 607 Adamsville Road. It's RDA. Engineer is Lenny Potter, Westport Environmental. Report date was 6/13/2023. Do we have a DEP file number on that yet?
It's not even.
You don't need one. Okay, thank you. The owner has filed to repair the sewage disposal system on the site. The Advantex tank will be installed outside the 100-foot buffer zone. The system will pump to a leaching area designed along Adamsville Road. This is the farthest area from the riverfront area that will accommodate the system of this size. The work is proposed within the existing lawn area with no required land clearing. Resource areas impacted, the riverfront. Recommendations of Chris is the Westport Conservation Commission should approve the work with a negative box 2 determination. That's it.
All right, great. Any questions, comments?
You said this is a stream that comes out of the east side of Adamsville Pond?
It's on the northeast corner of the pond.
Oh, it flows
Just
into the
before
pond,
you-
huh?
The Adamsville Road comes
Yeah.
down here,
Yeah,
and Longfield Lanterns
yeah,
is right here.
okay.
And the pond's right here.
Oh, okay. So the stream flows into the pond,
It's right next to the
yeah,
Land Trust, the old Catholic camp.
right,
That's right here.
okay.
So I had some, what the owners drew my attention to was, so they filed an RDA, which is really just to delineate the resource area. But it seems, no? Okay.
RDA, you can permit work.
Oh,
in the
okay,
Resource area.
okay, all right.
I've been told you can't identify wetlands resource areas in an RDA, but you can.
Okay. Okay, all right. I think you would do the notice of intent if you were gonna do a project, that's all. All right.
Okay, if there are no other comments, looking for motion?
Second.
Jake and Tom?
Yep.
Okay, those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. And I don't see a folder to pass on this one. Liam, is there? I didn't see anything for us to sign on this one. No. All right, so we'll. Let me see, let me just check. Nothing there. And no.
Yeah, I can see they have. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, it's everything except the,
Okay.
sheet for us to sign, okay. Sure it's not something else.
Was it one for that one too, and is she getting all of them, or what? I don't know. Let me go,
I just, yeah, well, yeah, let her know.
just to make sure to get
Yeah,
sign sheets for all of them.
just have her grab a bunch of them. Yeah, they usually get them.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So Lynn, how's the family?
Yep.
How was your Father's Day?
Thank you.
Good.
And Grandfather's Day.
Grandfather's Day, that's right, yeah. The one thing in life that's not overrated.
That's right. You sugar them up and send them home.
I'm missing Nora tonight. Margaret went up to Walpole. My son lived in Walpole, and tonight was the night he wanted us to come up and stay over, but
So you're alone.
I had to be here.
Don't stay out of the social club.
And members of the commission, do you have a good Father's Day?
We did.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Just ask my kids to ask me for nothing. Just ask for nothing today. That's all I need. That's my gift. It's nothing.
There's a file if we need for more.
All right, perfect. Okay, so Burns.
Yep.
All right. Next is Doris.
So I think we're good, right?
So
We approved it,
we approved it.
Yeah.
but he's
Now
staying
it's-
for the next one.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
he's up,
okay,
yeah,
good,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Doris Pena Cruz, RDA 59 3rd Street, repair sewage disposal system and velocity zone.
Okay, this is one Potter again, Westport Environmental, for Doris Pena Cruz, 59 3rd Street. And this is on the back end, the west end of 3rd Street, and this is on the right-hand side going down on the north side. The entire lot is in a flood zone, velocity zone, and the system needs repair. There's 2 seepage pits located here, an existing tank back here. Those pits are in the water table, thus the system failed. So I've come up with using a single layer D-night unit here, at this point, a pump chamber, I have to pump up even though it's kind of downhill because there's a high water table. So we're placing that system in this location, 100 feet from the well. The only resource here is the velocity zone. It's a VE 18, and like I say, the entire, I got no choice, I'm in the velocity zone. So the area, the units will be installed, the system installed, graded, loamed, and seeded, and everything. But I have no other choice. Well, that's pretty much it.
The report, Doris Pena Cruz, 59 3rd Street, and it's an RDA, it's Westport Environmental Design, Lenny Carter. The report date is 6/13/2023. Site visit was 6/13/2023 as well. Detailed description of the work. The owner is installing a new Title V system for the single-family home located at 59 3rd Street. The wetlands are existing across the street and off-site to the rear. The site also falls within a velocity flood zone. The work is within the lawn area and adjacent to the home. The D-Night tank system will be installed in the rear of the home and leaching area to the west. The activity will not cause any adverse effects to the flood zone. And no resource areas impacted. Recommendations, the Westport Conservation Commission should issue a negative box 2 determination for the Title V system.
All right, any questions or comments? I'd just like to note that Len has an AOL email account.
I do as well, so
You
do
really?
not worry about it.
Typo.
As long as it works, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, if there are no other comments, looking for a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second it.
Okay.
All right. So Jake and Tom?
Bert.
Oh, Bert, okay. You got that one? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that passes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
All right, take care. All right, Robert Carrick, notice of intent, 1702 Sea Drift Road, construct elevator walkway, fixed pier, gangway, float, and boat lift in bordering vegetated wetlands, flood zone, and riverfront area.
You have green cards.
Thank
And these are colored copies.
All right.
Sidewalk is. And, Phil, you know what this is. So I'm gonna give you a copy of the interim license approval. There's an existing pier there, just for the record. And then just today, we got the comments from the Division of Marine Fisheries, which I'll address. Good evening. For the record, my name is Alan Peru, and I'm a professional civil engineer. For this hearing, I'm representing Judy and Robert Carrick, who own a house at 1702 C Drift Road on the shore of the Westport River, East Branch. I put up on the board a copy of the first page of 4 sheets of the waterways license. What we're proposing is a fixed pier, gangway, and float. On this property, there is an existing fixed pier, gangway, and float, and it has an interim approval that's dated February 20th, 1996. So an interim approval was the Mass DEP's offer to people who had existing structures back in 1993 when they promulgated the new regulations to license structures during their lifetime with less paperwork, and they didn't have to hire a land surveyor and an engineer and all of that. They could make a sketch. So there is an existing fixed pier, gangway, and float on the property, and we propose to remove those existing coastal structures and construct a 120-foot-long elevated walkway across the bordering vegetated wetland and the salt marsh to a 41-foot-long fixed pier, 20-foot-long gangway, and 10-by-20 float with float stops. Also, we propose a boat lift off the end of the float. The record waterways plan, which I have up on the easel, is dated May 8th, 2023. So this is the existing house on the property. The yellow is the northerly and southerly property line. The proposed fixed pier gangway and float is essentially in the same location of the existing one that we're going to replace. And this area here is bordering vegetated wetland. Then there's a stand of Phragmites, and then there's a band of salt marsh on the shore. So some of the length of the structure is this is now an existing footpath down to the shore, and we're replacing that with an elevated walkway that meets the standards of the DEP and the Division of Marine Fisheries. In particular, we narrowed this walkway to 32 inches because the Division of Marine Fisheries across the salt marsh wants 1.5 times the width height. So 32 inches times 1.5 is 48 inches. So across the salt marsh, we're proposing the elevated walkway 48 inches from the marsh to the bottom of the stringer across the marsh. And then once we get to the edge of the salt marsh, where there's a pretty distinct bank, and we're going over the water sheet, the pier is actually 4 feet wide, more of a standard width for a pier, 4 foot wide to get out to a length that allows us to have a reasonable depth at the end of the pier and for the gangway and float. On this property, as I mentioned, there is a footpath to the shore. The proposed elevated walkway follows the existing path across the narrowest width of the salt marsh, 25 feet minimum from the southerly property line. The width of the elevated walkway is 32 inches. The width of the fixed pier over the water sheet is 4 feet. The proposed deck elevation of the walkway and pier is 9 feet mean low water, 4 feet above the salt marsh, which meets the 1.5 to 1 height to width ratio recommended by the Division of Marine Fisheries. Dave Pichette, wetlands consultant, performed an eelgrass survey at the property on November 5th, 2022, and no eelgrass was observed within the project area. His report to the commission is dated November 15th, 2022. Also, Mr. Pichette delineated the limit of wetlands shown on the record plan, and today we received a letter from Amanda Davis, environmental analyst, Division of Marine Fisheries, dated 6/20/2023. So I gave you a copy of her report, and on the plan, which is 4 sheets, I have 2 transverse sections of the pier. I have a transverse section of the elevated walkway, which is 32 inches wide, and a transverse section of the pier, which is 48 inches wide. And one of her comments was we didn't need the 1.5 to 1 ratio, but in fact we do, because I don't think she saw that I had a separate transverse section for the elevated walkway. It's the reason I narrowed it to 32 inches while we were crossing the wetlands and the salt marsh. Her only other comment was I forgot to put a dimension on the plan on the profile of the pier to indicate that the recommended height of the float stops is 30 inches above the sediment and shellfish habitat at low tide. It's something I always do, and I will have to do to get the project license. So I'm going to ask that the commission approve the waterways license plan with the condition that we add that dimension on the profile sheet 3 of 4 to indicate the recommended height of the float stops 30 inches above the sediment and shellfish habitat at low tide. The DEP file number is SE80-2688, and I'd be happy to answer your questions.
What do we do?
Yeah.
Applicant is Robert Carrick. Location is 1702C Drift Road. This is an NOI. Alan Haru from Haru Engineering is here. Report date is 6/17/2023. As Alan mentioned, DEP file number is SE80-2688. Agency is required to be contacted as DMF. Site visit was on 6/12/2023. Detailed description of the work. The owner has filed to construct an elevated walkway with replacement of the fixed pier, gangway, and float. The property currently has a licensed pier that will be removed A new 120-foot elevated walkway over the wetland will be constructed with 6x6 posts. The elevated walkway will connect to the 41-foot fixed pier extending in the same location as the old licensed pier. The gangway will end at the 10-foot by 20-foot float and a boat lift at the far end. The float will be equipped with float stops to maintain separation at low water. The boat lift will consist of 4 piles that a lift will be constructed off of. The eelgrass survey was conducted by D. Pichette with none observed within the limits of all work. The dock design meets the town's dock policy. As Jason mentioned, resource areas impacted, BVW, land subject to flooding, land containing shellfish, and riverfront. Recommendations, the Westport Conservation Commission should approve with standard dock conditions and pending DMF comments, which we just received today. Jason?
What, just, what are the specifics of the boat lift? And I wish Chris was here for this, because I'd like to ask him how that impacts the, or how, boat lifts are handled in the town's dock policy. If I were a neighbor in that neighborhood, I know the neighborhood pretty well, I would not want a lift at the end of someone's dock. That's a quaint neighborhood with docks and a little community, mini marina. I'm surprised that we don't have abutters raising an issue of the boat lift. And are there any, what are the dimensions, what size
Yeah, it's
lift is he?
basic, it's 12 and a half, there's 4 pilings that support the cradle of the boat lift. It's oriented north-south, so Bob is also a boater and figures if he was gonna come into the boat lift, he would come in, depending on the tide, either from the south to north or from the north to south, so that's the way it's oriented. But it's 4 piles, basically 12 feet on center, that support a cradle. And Bob just wants to have the boat out of the water so it's not getting all, the usual gunk up on the bottom of the boat. So that's the reason, but it's basically 4 pilings that support the cradle.
And how,
And it's manufactured by a company called High Tide Boat Lifts, and, so, I mean, that's, I got the specifications for it, but that's essentially what it is.
Jason, does anyone have any lifts? I can't think
there
of any.
there is one up on the East Branch, and I was on the water this weekend, and it kind of jumped out like a sore thumb. It really did.
We're not on like intercoastal in Florida.
No,
where you see them everywhere.
no.
Yeah, that's right.
And a lot of them-
That's where High Tide
Well,
was.
yeah.
I think there used to be one, I think it was taken out of commission. I mean, I'm in a butter, so I've kind of recused myself
Yeah.
from this, so, at least from voting anyway, and, but I agree with your characterization of, what's there now. I don't know
I mean, the
how
boat lifts that I've seen, and you'll see 100 in Florida for every one you see around here.
Yeah.
It's aluminum I-beams or some aluminum structure.
No, these
And
would be on the plan.
Do they extend any-
They're gonna
do
be
they-
Greenheart pilings.
Do they extend, so there's no part of that whole apparatus that extends beyond the height of the pilings?
Right, yes. So it's basically, as I said, 4 pilings, and then the cradle is nothing but just
Yeah.
a bar, essentially, with a couple of runners that, you ride up onto.
Is this extending any further than the current fixed pier that's there, or is it?
No,
It is not extending further into the river at all?
not the pier.
Okay.
It's shallower
Yeah.
the further out you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see, it says it meets the town's dock policy, so is there something in there about boat lifts?
I
It is, at the end of the day, it's a structure holding up several thousand pounds of stuff too, so.
yeah, we
More than
don't,
just a dock.
we don't, like, I personally, I haven't handled enough projects like this with a boat lift I don't have any experience with them. I wish Chris was here for this.
I mean, you still need to get back to the state, so I mean, would you be okay if we asked for a continuance for 2
Yeah,
weeks to get that answer?
don't,
If you're not comfortable.
well, the thing, you know, I don't
We just
want
don't-
to vote no on it if it is compliant, but I don't know enough about it to vote one way or the other. Would a continuance make sense? That way we can at least see Chris's opinion when he's available?
Sure.
Does that seem reasonable?
I have no problem with that. I mean, if we look at the town stock policy and it has nothing about lifts in it,
Then we, yeah.
then you
yeah.
move forward.
Yeah, it's just one of those gray area situations that I'm not
What
comfortable voting on
is
without.
the date, just, would be?
For
the
2 weeks,
continuing
It'll
date?
be,
7/18 or 8/1, whichever
well, I would say we do it as soon as we can.
7/18.
Okay, the only thing is on
I
that,
only have one in that month.
on that hearing, I know Chris told me there's some huge project. Can I be put
Can we
first?
be in first? Yeah,
Well, you have a continuance.
I know, it's the policy of the commission to have continuances at the end of the meeting, or maybe if, I don't have to come
You'd
if
be the
Chris
first
is,
one continued.
if Chris, yeah, but.
Well, you've
Chris-
already presented, so I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
So I wouldn't have.
yeah,
Well, I put it in the proper place, and at the meeting, you just see them ahead of time, and you can do that.
that's fine. I mean, if Chris has no problem with it, it'll be a quick rubber stamp, it'll be over with.
Okay,
All right, and if Chris has
Okay.
concerns, then maybe
Okay.
we handle it the traditional way. Is that?
Okay,
That's
so I'll just keep in touch with Chris.
Yeah,
On that, at that
yeah.
time. Yeah, because Chris mentioned some big project that's
Yeah.
coming in, and that's the reason why I put Mooney on the 1st of August.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just don't want to, come and sit through a long thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, so that's okay with me.
Okay, all right, so looking for a motion to continue to July
18.
18th?
Motion to continue.
Second.
Okay, that's Jake and Tom. Those in favor? Opposed? All right,
All right, have a good evening.
all right, thanks. So we are not signing this.
Jamie, yeah, good to see you. Take care, be safe. Talk to you, see you around.
Take care.
All right, Douglas Clark, notice of intent, 166 East Beach Road. Beach maintenance on a Barrier Beach?
I don't think he was here for that.
Nobody's here.
No? Okay.
No, he sometimes said that they don't have to be.
I don't-
And he'll read the report and then he will.
Yeah, I think the last meeting, we had more than a few that we just voted on and moved
Yeah,
forward.
okay.
I don't think they need to present anything on this, because, you know what? So, you want me to read the report?
Yeah, read
Chris?
the report.
I mean,
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
Applicant is Douglas Clark, 166 East Beach Road. Type of filing is NOI. Report date 6/17/2023. DEP file number is SE 80-2692. Site visit was on 6/17/2023. The owner of the trailer lot has filed to allow periodic beach nourishment as needed to the lot on the ocean side of East Beach Road. The sand nourishment must be compatible and can't be placed below mean high water. Recommendations: the Westport Conservation Commission should approve with standard conditions with sand nourishment to be compatible and none placed between mean high water. Jason, the only other thing on the ones we had last time is prior to them commencing work, I think they have to just check with Chris to make sure that they have the proper
It's the proper
material.
sand.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah, so we'll, within our motion,
Yep.
we'll make it subject to them contacting Chris to make sure that they're using the right material.
Sure. So motion to approve the beach nourishment at 166 East Beach Road. Obviously confirming with Chris the appropriate materials to be used.
Second.
Jake and Tom, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is unanimous. Another one?
Yep.
Warren Berg, notice of intent, 170 East Beach Road, beach maintenance on a barrier beach.
As Jason mentioned, applicant is Warren Berg, 170 East Beach Road, NOI, report date 6/17/2023. The DEP file number is SC 802693. Site visit was on 6/17/2023. Detailed description of the work. The owner of the trailer lot has filed to allow periodic beach nourishment as needed to the lot on the ocean side of East Beach Road. And the sand nourishment must be compatible and can't be placed below mean high water. Recommendations, the Westport Conservation Commission should approve with standard conditions with sand nourishment to be compatible and none placed below mean high water. Obviously the same as we talked about on the previous one. I guess I'll make
All right.
a motion.
So no discussion, so same motion.
Make a motion to approve the NOI for 170 East Beach Road with condition that they reach out to Chris prior to commencing any work to make sure that it is compatible sand or materials to be used.
Second.
All right. Jake and Phil, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Unanimous? Long-built homes, notice of intent, lot 3, Sodom Road, install well, tree clearing, stormwater basin, and a buffer zone.
Good evening, Jamie Bissonette, Zenith Consulting Engineers for the record. It was probably a month ago or so that we had the two adjacent lots, lots 1 and 2, in front of you. The two applications that we have in front of you tonight are very similar. Single-family houses with advanced treatment septic systems and stormwater facilities per the town of Westport's drainage bylaw through the Board of Health. There's not much particular that is special about the layouts. We try to minimize impact. These are 4-bedroom colonial houses with driveway in the front, septics in the front. Well is placed in the rear at the within the limit of work, but roughly about 100 feet from the adjacent septic systems. There's not a tremendous amount of play as far as movability here. We try to minimize the disturbance, so as you can see on lot 3, we had a little bit more room that we could have played with in the back, but didn't. And therefore, we're greater than 25 feet to the resource area in all cases here. In some cases, we're over 50 feet. We're looking for an order of conditions to be able to construct this, and be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
The report, Long-Built Homes is the applicant, location Lot 3, Sodom Road, it's NOI, Zenith Engineering, report date is 6/17/2023. DEP file number is SC 802695, site visit was on 6/17/2023. The applicant has purchased the A&R lots on Sodom Road, this is the last 2 lots. The single-family home, driveway and septic will be out of the buffer zone. The well grading in the storm water basin will be within 100 feet of the buffer zone. The lot will have erosion controls installed along the existing field edge and will be the limit of work. As with the previous lots approved, this will also have a split rail fence installed as a permanent barrier to the resource area. Area will be loamed and seeded after work is complete. Resource areas impacted, the buffer zone. Recommendations, the Westport Conservation Commission should approve the project with standard conditions and split rail fence installed at limit of work. That's it.
All right, any discussion?
So
So,
what is
go ahead.
these are the ones south of Narrow Road? Where are these?
Yes.
Right on the,
They're pretty much on the corner.
on the corner.
Go ahead, Phil.
So I'll move to approve the plan for Lot 3, Sodom Road, subject to standard conditions and split rail fence being installed as the limit of work.
I second it.
Okay. That's Phil and Bert. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
As opposed to the first 2, I'm going to oppose these 2.
Yeah.
Jake,
This
opposed?
this will be 3-2. I'm opposed to this one too. So with a 3-2. you know, I'll change my vote. I'll vote in favor of it. It's gonna complicate things. Okay, so that passes. Okay, Long-Built Homes, Lot 4, Sodom Road, notice of intent, Zenith Engineering. Report date 6/17.
Again,
Yep,
Jamie
yep.
Bissonette, Zenith Consulting Engineers, good evening. This is the final of the four lots. Again, it's very similar to the previous presentation. In this case, we've kept the work out of the 200-foot riparian as well, which the riparian and the wetland line were delineated by an ANRAD through the commission. A lot of the work is because of the stormwater regulation in town. Besides that, it's the minimum size practical for the house to fit with a small backyard. So I'd be happy to try to answer any questions you have.
The report applicant is Long-Built Homes, location Lot 4, Sodom Road. It's NOI, Zenith Engineering is the engineer. Report date 6/17/2023. DEP file number is SE 802696. Site visit was on 6/17/2023. The applicant has purchased the A&R lots on Sodom Road. The single-family home, driveway, stormwater basin, and septic will be constructed in the buffer zone. This lot also contains a section of riverfront area extending from the perennial stream in the wooded BVW. No work is proposed in the riverfront. The lot will have the erosion controls installed along the existing field edge and will be the limit of work. As with the previous lots approved, this will also have a split rail fence installed as a permanent barrier to the resource area. Area will be loamed and seeded after work is completed. The split rail fence will extend around the well and across the field edge to Sodom Road. The Westmore Conservation Commission should approve the project with standard conditions of split rail fence installed as a limit of work.
Questions, concerns?
I mean, I will continue to voice my concerns that, you know, there's gonna be a point in time where some of these developers have, you know, have a conscience and don't try to jam a house in every last square foot of land in this town. So that's my public statement.
I'd agree with that, and I would also say that sometimes we vote for things that we
You can agree,
Hate,
agree
don't
with
have
it,
to
but
like.
our only legal power here is to control impact on the wetland, that's it.
It's also, I mean, my concern would be the homeowner who's gonna have a sump pump running 24 hours a day on both of those lots.
I mean, we've
mean,
seen
it's a
the
meadow.
results, we've seen the results on Sodom Road if the other lots have been approved. Unfortunately, it doesn't end well for the homeowners.
No, no. I mean, we could vote our conscience and vote it down, and then it would be appealed, and we'd be overruled at the state level.
Yep.
You know, so, like, hold your nose and vote, I guess. So, looking for a motion?
So I'll move to approve the plan for Lot 4 Sodom Road, subject to standard conditions and a split rail fence installed as a limit of work.
I second it.
All right. Phil and Bert, those in favor? Opposed?
Still opposed.
All right, and that passes.
All right, thank you.
All right. Continuances, none.
No need.
Moving right along.
All right, so we've got an extension here, Timothy Goodrich, SE 8022 Lawrence Avenue.
Want me to read the report?
Sure.
Applicant. You didn't find that funny? I can't get in trouble reading reports. All right, applicant is Timothy Goodrich, 22 Lawrence Avenue. Type of extension, type of file is an extension. It is a DEP file number SE 80-2508. Detailed description of the work is the applicant is requesting a 3-year extension to file number SC 80-2508. The Westport Conservation Commission should approve the extension to file SC 80-2508 for 3 years.
All right. If there's no discussion, looking for a motion?
Motion to approve.
I second that.
All right. Tom and Jake, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I won't oppose an extension.
Getting soft.
So, for an extension, same,
No, it should be a thing.
I don't,
I thought they should check.
no, it's okay, well, let me just make sure. Don't, cards, I don't see anything. It's okay.
Does Zena have anything? That's all. That's about it.
Wow.
Okay, so we need a certificate and an extension.
This is like as old as like Phil and Bert.
Not
You
quite,
hearing that, Donna?
not quite.
Bert, don't forget.
I'm older than the Wetland Protection Act, even.
Look at that, man.
Wow, 1980, all handwritten.
Yeah.
Where is Sylvia's Lane? Is that by?
Sylvia's Lane, right off of, down the street from me, off
Horse Neck?
Horse Neck Road.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know where Lawrence Avenue is either.
When you see Sylvia's Lane from the water, just every house that's built keeps getting higher than the next. It's, everyone wants a water view, and they're all built on a hill.
Like how it is.
That's Cherry Webb, that's Sylvia's Lane, it's everywhere.
Where are we on now? Are we still on Lawrence or on Sylvia?
We're on Sylvia, getting a certificate of compliance, but we just need a signing sheet for the Goodrich
Yeah.
one. 24 Lawrence. Lawrence Ave is right off of Cape Pile Lane by the point.
Oh, down there,
It says Cape Pile, Lawrence Ave is right off there.
that's Lawrence Ave.
So
I'm
it's at the
working
top of
on
Hotel Hill.
The
Yeah.
Habitat for Humanity duplex. on
It's
South
funny,
Road.
my wife actually grew up on 22 Lawrence Avenue, in a town in New York.
From the
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, you better know where it is from the west.
Oh, really?
From the-
Oh.
So I noticed that address. Hey, I've been there. Not quite.
How far are they from? It's gotta be moving right along, right?
Well, the problem, it's like the volunteers are only one day a week, but then the kids from the tech school have been coming during the week when school's in session. So, yeah, I mean, the inside is all kind of insulation and studs still at this point. It's all sealed in, and they're trying to put up siding. But it's a slow process.
Yeah.
The thing is just insulated in a way that I've never seen a house insulated before. It's just amazing.
All right, so this is the
Extension.
extension for Goodrich. All right, so we had the motion, and it was voted on, and now we just have to sign it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want me to read the next report for the certificate of compliance?
Sure, yep.
So the next one is certificate of compliance for John Fazina, 105 Sylvia's Lane. It's a reissue of a certificate of compliance, report date 6/20/2023. DEP file number is SE 80-175. Detailed description of the work. The owner is selling the home and the old certificate of compliance was issued but never recorded. A request for the reissuance of a new certificate of compliance has been made for 104 Sylvia's Lane. Recommendations: Westport Conservation Commission should issue a certificate of compliance, file number SE 80-175.
All right, any discussion? If not, a motion?
Tom and Jake just made it.
Tom, I second it.
Jake and Tom. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Too much rubber stamping around here.
I'm still trying to get over the boat lift and the houses in the meadow.
Could put a boat lift in the meadow.
Yeah, they will need one now. They come to Westport because they like it, and then they destroy it.
I brought back Liberty Believe.
All right,
Southern Liberty.
so were these included in, we've got Zoma, Salem, East Beach Road? You know, or in White Sylvia?
I don't have that.
No, I don't think so, because they must be on the next one. He must have put them all together.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right,
They're gonna go in next.
okay. All right. That one will continue, these are not for tonight. Okay, some bills. It's like East Bay Media for $430.50.
Move to pay.
Second.
Phil and Jake, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Looks like, is it WB Mason?
Yeah.
50, oh, I'm sorry. Total $7.57.
That's gonna break the town.
Yeah. Motion?
Motion to approve.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Postmaster, $650.
Postage is going up, so
All
I
right.
gave our fortune away.
Yeah, that's
We're
right.
gonna save a bundle. It just went up to 60, not went up to 63.
63, right?
Like
Yeah.
a first-class stamp?
Yeah, 63 cents to mail 11.
So we're only gonna
There'd be a lot of people that have books of stamps at home that,
As long as they're the forever, they cover them.
yeah, okay, all right. Okay.
That's why they lose $10 billion a year. They
Yeah.
Run a great business.
Looking for a motion?
Move to pay.
Second.
All right. Phil and Tom, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Another one, East Bay Media, $307.50. Looking for a motion to pay?
Move to pay.
Second.
Phil and Tom, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. And what is this one, Leon?
I might have lifted the thing that was gonna start the meeting. Is that a big bunch of stuff? Yeah, I noticed. He came in today and he got it passed.
Okay, okay. All right, gonna vote on the meetings from May 9th. Present were Jake, Tom, Phil, Kevin, and Paul.
Cute.
Arrived later, Bert and me. So
Then you can vote on it.
we can vote on it. Yep, okay. Any changes to the May 9th minutes? If not, looking for a motion to accept.
Motion to approve.
Second it.
All right, who's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and, place to sign on those, right?
I don't think we have to sign
You don't have to sign those, no. Okay.
I don't think,
Sign that.
well, maybe you just have to sign.
I think I just signed
I
it.
think
Yeah.
it's just you just
Yeah.
signed the top, because I don't think we signed those in the past.
No, we haven't.
No.
All right. Anything else? If not,
Actually, I have one question. We have that dead seal still on the beach on private property. I know the town said they were gonna take care of it. It's really getting quite gamey and smelly, so I don't know if the Board of Health has looked at that or not, because I've heard numerous complaints. They come to us and complain nonstop. And I said,
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
on our property. We can't do anything. Technically, it's not private property anyway, but I didn't know if the town was gonna do that, but I'm sure you'll continue to get some, as the smell
Yeah,
continues to get worse. They should just
Matt
push it
had-
back into
I
the
mean, we actually had a meeting earlier today, and Matt didn't mention it, so I
Okay.
just don't know that it's, what's going on, but it was a long weekend too, so.
Yeah, no, it's just above the high tide,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
above the
yeah,
moon
yeah.
tide. The moon
Yeah.
tide pushed it further up on the beach, and it's
Right.
not a pretty sight at this point, especially after the IAFA or whatever they are came and dissected the thing, so.
Hmm.
They dissected and left it dissected, yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Now, mind you, it's now in a piping plover exclosure that has piping plovers that are gonna hatch here in the near future, and the number one predator of piping plovers is coyotes, so then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just basically brought,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Maybe-
relaying a message.
Maybe long-term, I don't know, Chris or the Board of Selectmen can reach out to these groups. If they're gonna conduct research on the beach, then there should be a
Somebody should at least
a
put a
plan
bit
to
below
dispose
low
of.
tide.
It's on private property, is that what you're saying?
Well, it's between Cherry and Webb and Baker's, and it's
Right, so
one of
that's-
those
yeah,
private property
yeah,
owners
yeah,
now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they probably should have just pushed it down behind
Right.
below low tide, let nature take its course. But
And it's
Yeah.
probably illegal for a private citizen to be in possession of a dead marine mammal.
Well, I just
Right,
know
you
in
can
other,
s-
I just know in other contexts that, like from an animal control part, you know, that is if a deer ends up dying on your land, the town isn't responsible for that. If it's on public property, the town is responsible to remove it. If it's on private property, they're not responsible to remove it. It's up to the private property owner.
But I think with a marine mammal, it's gonna be a lot different.
Yeah,
Like you can't, if a leatherback turtle washes up on your beach,
Which
you
we
had-
can't
yeah,
keep
yeah.
it.
and we
Yeah,
had
you gotta
buried.
be careful
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the same. I was,
yeah.
Yeah.
don't know I don't know what the rules about that are, but it still might be the private property owner's responsibility to do whatever is required under the law, if that's the situation. I don't know that he can turn to the town and ask them to, you know, to do it, so. But then maybe it becomes like a public nuisance on
Mhm.
private property,
That's
And
the
then-
problem you're gonna run into.
and then the town can, you know, lean on the private property owner to address the nuisance, because it's on their property whether or not they caused it or not. You know. So,
That was it.
I'll ask,
I didn't know if it becomes a health issue.
Yeah, yeah, I'll check in with,
There are now maggots and everything else on it.
yeah, I'll check in with Matt and just see,
Time lapse photography of it.
and see what's going on with that.
Start a blog for it.
No, I just, the people that come up, they're horrified. What if children see this? I'm like, I don't, what do you want me to do?
I know if whales wash up, they tend to leave them and let nature take its
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any laws on what you can do with dead wild animals, what a seal is,
Yeah.
you know, let nature take its course. Dig a hole and bury it,
That's what we normally do.
haul it out to sea and let it go a couple miles offshore. They float.
Except they pulled it further up than
Over the
this.
horse neck.
Yeah.
Well, with the southwest breeze, you know where it's gonna end up, right from Baker's.
Sacred necks, then horse neck.
Yeah. All right, if there's nothing else. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?